In this game of memory, all the resource cards are placed face down on the table, and you'll need to use your turn to find matching sets by remembering their location on the table. During your turn, you can peek at 2 cards, and if they're the same, you can continue flipping over more cards until you find a mismatch. And each player also has their own memory bank where they can strategically store up to 2 sets of cards that will help them complete sets and stop other players collecting them. The game ends when all the sets have been found and the player with the most cards wins the game. This game uses all of the resource cards. Shuffle them well. Then arrange all the resource cards face down in a structured grid. Before you start, you need to know, on each resource card, you'll see little squares in the top right corners. These squares show how many cards a set has. In this example, Ruby has 4 squares, which means there are 4 Ruby cards in order to complete the set. The player with the best memory goes first. On each player's turn, they can flip over 2 cards. If the cards don't match, flip them back over and it's the next person's turn. When a player flips over 2 matching resource cards, they can continue flipping over cards until they flip over a card that doesn't match. Players can decide whether to keep any of the same type of resource cards and put them in their memory bank, and then flip over the remaining. Memory banks make it easier to complete sets and prevent other players from collecting the set. Each player can have a maximum of 2 types of resources in their memory bank at any one time. In addition to memory banks, there are also treasure chest cards. If you pick up a treasure chest card, you may immediately collect it without it counting towards the 2 cards you are allowed to reveal during your turn. It's essentially a bonus card. There are also wild cards, which can substitute any other resource card. In this case, this player has 2 emerald cards and uses the wild card to substitute the 3rd emerald card in order to complete the set. Once you complete a set, place it face up in front of you so everybody can see you have a completed set. Players continue playing, taking turns in a clockwise direction, using their memory bank strategically. The game ends when there are no more cards left in the middle of the table. At this point, players count the number of cards in the sets that they completed. Any cards from incomplete sets do not count. Treasure chest cards count as 1. The player with the most cards wins the game.